This is Dale Matthews. This is our show, my show with Mike. There's something about starting this show. I'm always happy to start this off. Are you feeling the same kind of happiness, Mike?
um, sure, Dale. Yes. Whatever you say.
That's whatever I say. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what I try to do here at the beginning of the show is I try to pick something from the internet that I can put over the shoulders. And this time I found this, and sometimes it's like ABC News or some other kind of thing, or the New York Times or whatever. Anyway, I found the last couple of days, you probably noticed, those sharpest among you have probably noticed that there's been some election night coverage from CBS, ABC. This one's from Fox. You decide. So I thought, well, would be great if this one said you decide and the other one said we report, except, well, maybe the other way around. It should be we report and you decide. So I look for we report, and here's what I found. It's like the new motto for the Daily Courier. Okay, here it is. See what you think about this. This is just lovely. It says, what does that say?
We report news as they happen.
We report news as they happen.
Yes.
Yes. This is the editorial content by Kevin Whittison of the Daily Courier. We report news as they happen. I took this off the screen. I thought, what did that say? And I went back and I looked at it, and I can't even remember the joke because I'm not even thinking that way. We report news. Oh, what was it that was on that Dale and Mike show? I defy you to remember because this is so goofy.
Yeah, and news, is that anything like Snipes or
Yes. We report news as they happen.
Yeah, and news happens. News happens. Yes.
Well, apparently, so, but I love that kind of stuff from newspapers. Like, there's a couple of these, like, child stool, great for garden. And so you're going to go over to your neighbor. She's got a couple little babies. You and your family can really
have the contents of your diapers.
It's like the Courier again. Okay, and then there's another one. Milk drinkers turn to powder. I love these headlines.
Wow. Did it happen all of a sudden?
Yeah.
They were
it's like
eating
Lot's wife.
And then poof.
Right. It's like Lot's wife. And then there's another one, and this is a little bit more subtle, but I was telling Mike about this the other day. It's a lady, she's out in her garden, well, out in her front yard, and she's got her hand on a street light kind of thing, one of those low street lights, and the headline says, "First lady in the community to hold such a post."
Yes. Right. Wow. Well, that's a notable picture. Yes.
Yeah. Milk drinkers turn to powder. It's classic. I will tell you again the story of bears live young. If there's time at the end of the show, bears live young.
Oh, yes, and you won't want to miss that.
No, and it was a sign at the National Zoo when I was visiting there. Bears live young. Daddy, is that true? Do bears live young? And the sign was near the snake pit. And he says, well, that wouldn't even make sense if it was near the bears. What do you mean bears live young? Do they, Daddy? So we'll tell you that story, but only if there's time later. So some people say,
people
you guys
will be waiting. They'll be like, oh my God, my head is spinning. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, here's the news, right? Bears live young. That's what it said. So what we're trying to do for some people, the curmudgeons among us, whoa, when I tune in, how come it's not all news and you're joking around? Would you just relax, please? I mean, you think you're going to get news from K-Joe? Come on now, okay? Their motto is, we just don't report the news, and the actual motto of the Daily Courier is, we only report the news we want you to hear.
No, their motto is, we report news as they happen.
Okay, all right, enough laughing.
I'm so glad there's someone here in the community that does that.
As they happen. Okay, all right. So now we're going to get deadly serious. This is pretty serious, and this is he's a real patriot. Okay, his name is Mouse Prosen. I know. The mouse that roars. We get all the jokes. Okay, so we're going to play you back something from Wednesday's weekly business session. It was a hopping session, and we are going to now play you Mouse, and he's hopping, and he's going to tell you some things that you may not have heard before. Go ahead, Mike. Play Mouse Prosen.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Mouse Prosen. I am from South Carolina. Just got a few things to say so you folks understand what an Oath Keeper is and what a 3%er for life is. We are not tyrants. We love our country, and we stand by the right and just of our Constitution and our government upholding the Constitution. We are not animals. We don't harm people. We are fathers. We are former military. We are constitutionalists. We are mothers, brothers, grandfathers, uncles, sisters, and brothers in arms. We have fought in foreign countries. We have fought on our land. Now we have a war right here in America, right here in Oregon. The BLM is attacking people with unjust and unrightful laws. They're going against our Constitution. Our sheriff could stop this immediately. He has gone against his oath. You're supposed to support life, liberty, and property. That is his oath. So it's either get off the fence and do your job or step down. That's all there is to it. It's black and white like an Oreo. There's no in between. I am here for many reasons. I am here for my country. I am here for my friends. I am here for these miners. I am here for the people of Oregon. And I am here for my family all across the United States. I want to know one thing and tell me how you feel about this. If I did not come here and help support these people in a just way, under God's law, we are supposed to take care of our brother. What do I tell my family? What do I tell my children? And hopefully my great-grandchildren on my deathbed. When they look at me and they go, Pop, why didn't you go down there and stand up for these folks' rights? Why didn't you do this? Because this is what you were taught how to do. This is how you love your country. Do I tell them because I was too lazy to get off my behind and drive all the way here and stand for these fine folks who are Americans, who are the people you're supposed to be supporting, and tell them I thought somebody else would take care of it? That makes me a failure. That makes me a failure in God's eyes. That makes me a failure in the oath I signed. The oath I signed was to protect America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That means overseas and right here at home. We have enough tyranny outside the United States. Why are we having a war right here? You folks are citizens of Oregon. The sheriff could stop this immediately. You folks all saying that we're monsters, that we're a bunch of gun-carrying fools, that we have no control, that we're doing things that is absolutely untrue. You want to know what we're doing? Come up and talk to me. I'll tell you what we're doing. I won't lie to you. You may not like what I tell you, but I'm going to tell you the damn truth. I have nothing to hide. I am standing right here in front of you, a free man who has fought for this country, who loves this country more than anything you can imagine. I love that flag right there, and the men and women who have fought for it before me and have died. I've lost many friends. I'm tired of losing friends. I'm tired of losing my rights. So please stand up. Stand up for your country. Stand up for that flag. Stand up for God and do what is right and just. We have a Constitution. That's why we have it. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.
This is happening right in your weekly business session in this town every Wednesday morning.
Yeah. No, it's pretty heavy stuff. And, I totally agree with him in the respect that the sheriff could be doing something about this. And the more we have spent time with the charter, the more it appears that if the elected representatives here would read their charters too, they would understand that there's kind of an obligation to take a stand on matters where people's rights, especially the rights that protect us against illegal search and seizure, are concerned. That you would think that after reading that, they would feel a little bit more sense of duty to take some sort of a stand on this issue.
Now, Mike, what do you think that people mean when they say we have or we don't have a constitutional sheriff? What does a constitutional sheriff do as opposed to another kind of sheriff?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed in, what I know about constitutional sheriffs, which is, I'm sure there's other people that know more than I do. But I think the thing that is the distinction is that a constitutional sheriff understands that he is the kind of the supreme law in that county. In other words, or he's the supreme enforcer in that county. And so when the BLM comes in and attempts to do these things, which may be violating constitutional rights of the miners, the sheriff, if he believes in the being a constitutional sheriff, he can step in and say, "Hey, listen, you're not going to come into my county and enforce laws. You're not going to come into my county and do that kind of stuff. Cease and desist." When that guy has had his day in court, then we can talk about it, and you can come in and do whatever when the court says it's okay.
Now, you tell me if you think I'm wrong. I envision a constitutional sheriff as, sorry, Dave Daniel, not putting out a press release and then sitting behind his desk somewhere, but he's standing out there with the people whose due process is in jeopardy. He's standing right there with them, and he's got his arms crossed. And he says, "Oh, no, you're not going to do that. Not in this county."
Right.
Constitutional sheriff.
Yeah, right. And so you wonder, this sheriff has also made statements like, "I am in favor of your Second Amendment right, and I am not going to allow anybody to take your guns away," or whatever. And so when you look at this situation here, which, okay, this is not the Second Amendment. This is, the Fourth and Fifth Amendments, and perhaps others,
like the 14th.
And he's got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. I put out a press release about that. Well, did you address the situation? Did you address his Fourth, Fifth Amendment rights? Did you address that? I don't remember that happening.
Well, you were there. All of you were there. You saw the video, and I said, "Sheriff, do you feel," it's the only comment he's made on tape. We have the only one, and you saw it. "Do you feel a press release is enough?" And there's a long pause. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I just talked to him today. Now, we're going to be on tomorrow night, election night coverage. Tired of this election? So are we. Okay, but that'll be live at 8. And so I talked with Bill Landis, the police chief. He's definitely going to come on. He'll be probably our first guest. Just talk, no matter what happens. No matter what, it's the news. It's not just the news with some point of view. If you want that, you know where to go to find the news with a point of view. We have one, but that's not, we're not going to block the news because it doesn't agree with us. It's just, oh boy. Okay, as they happen. But I talked with the sheriff, and no, it's not just because it's our show. Because I kind of like the guy still, okay, but he's taken a big beating. And I said, "Would you like to come on and talk pro or con about what you think, what's going to happen next? When this levy passes or doesn't happen, well, everybody's going to want to know, well, what's going to happen next? Would you like to talk about that?" "No, not really. It's paraphrasing. I want to keep a low profile." "What? Really? Bill Landis is, yeah, I'll talk, of course. We have some challenges ahead, no matter what happens." But he doesn't want to. It's not just on our show. He says, "No, I said no to all the media." You said no to all the media, really? But you're saying no to the people.
So did he say that he has felt beat up by the media, or was that just an impression that you got?
He said that. Yeah. They kind of beat me up. Well, have you got the feeling, Mike, that the media is beating up the sheriff? Really?
No. What media is he talking about? Because basically they've arrived at his press conference and took dictation. Basically, that's really the only thing that I've seen the media do.
So I like Melissa
McRobbie. To them.
I like Melissa McRobbie, the reporter.
Yeah, but she didn't beat him up.
No, she didn't ask any tough questions. Who asked the tough questions? Bill Hunker and us.
Yes, that's right.
So who do you think he's talking about, Mike?
Well, Yeah, but for crying out loud, I mean, what we've talked to the guy a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he's probably seen the show where we have been somewhat critical at times. But, that's I don't know. I don't know. Have you ever seen Hannity or any pundit show on TV or something?
Right.
People come on there from both sides, and they duke it out, and then it's over, and everybody goes home and has a drink or something. Whatever.
Different points of view. Yeah. Or Mark Sullivan goes home and he doesn't have a drink. So
right. Yeah. Yes.
Hello, Mark. Hope you're watching the show, bud. Yeah, bud. No. It's not the kind of media they're used to, which is another kind of question. When the commissioners feel that people are being tough on them, or when the commissioners admit that their rating is kind of low, now people are not getting negative news about the commissioners from the Courier. They're sure not getting negative news, exactly the opposite about the commissioners from the radio station. How the heck are people finding out this negative news about anybody in county government?
Or TV, for that matter.
So where are they getting this? And sure, half of what we do is commentary. I reserve the right to do that. I'm an American. And the other half of what we do is just play back Cheryl Walker saying, well, you contribute nothing to the. We just let her say it. I mean, when she runs, all we need to do, there needs no commentary. Just play Cheryl Walker. Hearsay is something that happened a long time ago. What? So there's plenty of, she's her own worst enemy. And all we have to do is just, so where are people? I already know the answer. I love it when I know the question and the answer, Mike. Supply the right answer now, buddy, or I'm going to keep asking you, where are they getting this negative news about the commissioners? They're not getting it from most places. What medium?
Yeah.
What medium is holding their feet to the fire?
Yes. Well, and I don't, I have a little bit of an objection to that somehow we are feeding negative news to people.
No, we're feeding the news to people, and they're making their own decisions.
News. The interpretation is negative because, who's putting the spin there? They're putting the ultimate spin on it, and then the rest is commentary, and that's life in the big city. Deal with it.
Well, it used to be that you could watch cable TV, sure, and you could tune in the county commissioners. Yeah, I'm going to do that, and you would see 24 hours a day plays of all of their meetings. That's what we did, and we just let them talk. We weren't commenting about anything, and Simon hated that. He wanted that cut off. The Courier hated. The Courier hated. It's a waste of time. Then don't watch it. How can it be a waste of time? It's cable TV and it's about local politics. Who watches this? Well, somebody watches it, don't you? Well, the Courier hated it. And Simon Hare hated it. And somebody like Sherry Adkins, who was the campaign manager for Mark Gatlin, she hated that kind of thing. How can you possibly, she's got her head down her hands, oh, you're going to be recording them. Yeah, they hated that. And so that's all we did is we put it out there for people to see. And the city council, who now finally is on cable where you can watch their meetings, so they last forever. For years, they opposed the idea of having any kind of TV coverage of what they were doing. Really, they told me in a live meeting, we've got enough people criticizing us now. If we put it on TV, it would never end. Now, how would that happen? They can't speak.
Yeah, well.
You get somebody like Mark Gatlin up there telling you his heartfelt feelings, and buddy, this guy, he can't even win against Simon Hare.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. But actually, I'm happy that it turned out like that. To be honest.
I am too. As much as I criticize Simon Hare, and we're trying to play back the video of him lying, and he cuts the power rather than that's really bad. Where else is that kind of thing happening? It's like the Russian Parliament, right? But As much as I detest that kind of activity, it's a whole bunch better than Mark Gatlin would have been.
Yeah.
And we've
No
given you
question.
reasons for that. Okay, so now everybody's favorite oath keeper. Well, oath keeper, everybody's favorite mining guy. He's young, he's got energy, and he was just a little upset with Cheryl Walker in her answers a couple of times to his questions and comments. So here's Danny Vandershelden, and he's going to tell you from the weekly business session what he thinks about the county commissioners.
Most people here are probably aware I am one of the miners on the Sugar Pine mine. First off, I'd like to thank Keith Heck and Simon Hare. Last meeting, you both gave encouraging words. I just want to thank you guys very much. That gave me a lot of hope that this might someday get resolved. I've been to 2 of these meetings so far. The very first meeting, I pleaded for help, and the response was that I do not pay taxes to the county. The second meeting, I said, yes, I do. And Cheryl Walker actually doubled down her comment, said, no, you don't, just like the marijuana growers. I was hoping to come here with a lot better prepared testimony here, but I was actually pretty busy making sure my houses get burnt down and get shot in the head by a BLM contractor, so forgive me. But I do have one of my receipts here to the fees and taxes, whatever you want to call them, to the county commissioner for having claims in this county. The initial filing for a claim is $51 to the county clerk. Forgive me. I have the receipt right here. This just happened to be 2 claims at once, so that was $102. I think I spent about $300 to $400 doing this process in the last year alone, which is a big chunk of change to me. Additionally, claims yearly have to file a yearly affidavit of assessment, which costs $28 to the county commissioner. Keep in mind, these fees are these fees are cash that we walk into the clerk's office and hand them cash right there on the spot. So you can't say this doesn't get to their freaking hands somehow. Whenever we change title, such as we sell our claim, that's another $51 to the county. Keep in mind that these claims have to pay the yearly affidavit of assessment, $28 every year. Right here, I have a list of claims, just the claims in Josephine County. These are the claims that exist only now, do not include the claims I've been here for past, since before Josephine County exists. I'd say there's between 2,000 and 3,000 names on this list right here. It's a pretty substantial list if anyone wants to look at that. I find this insulting. This is crazy to me. I'm here trying to help. People's lives are at stake. And the only thing we get is that we don't pay taxes. So we go take a hike. And yes, we do pay taxes. I've been here twice to say it. And apparently I have to bring the freaking proof in to prove that. It's very upsetting to me because I'm tired of being home. I'm tired of, my security guards throwing a bulletproof vest on me because there's a sudden, there's helicopters flying around and landing down here. I'm tired of the fact that there's mercenaries in town who want to shoot me. And quite frankly, I'd really enjoy if my life could get back to normal because I like being alone and I'm not tired. I'm very thankful for the security who's here, but I wish things would be back to normal so I could get back to my life and they get back to theirs. Additionally, Simon Harris specifically asked what he can do to help. Just off the top of my head, you guys could pass a resolution demanding that BLM allows due process before they order people to destroy their homes or ruin their mining operations. You could also pass a resolution requesting a congressional investigation to BLM abuses just in this county, investigate the hundreds of homes they burnt down without a trial, investigate the hundreds of mining operations they shut down without trial. You could also pass a resolution demanding that the sheriff takes action against this. He ceases BLM's law. He ceases their law enforcement ability in this county until we have a day in course. That way, if he does that, we can all go home. This is all done. I don't have to worry about people storming in here and taking me out.
So to be fair, your 3 minutes is up.
I apologize. I was kind of ranting off there. So thank you very much.
Good list so far.
Thank you very much.
I don't think that our treasury has received one dime. Josephine County government has not received one dime of mining money in probably 100 years or more, if you can go back and look at all the budgets. It may produce money for the miners, just like anybody else's job does. That's fine. That's great, as a matter of fact. But talking about being a poor county, unless the county is actually receiving revenue, it's not helping us. And if you want to mine, go for it. I mean, if you have a mining claim, you mine it within the law. And if that makes your living, that's wonderful, just like anybody else who's any other career. That's bless you. But as far as helping the county become other than what we are, it hasn't. We haven't received any revenue from any mining. Now, if any miners wish to come forward and make a contribution to the county, to help the county, that would be fabulous. We do have some people that make gifts to the county.
You may want to contact Cheryl and tell her what you think about that.
Yeah, that's a public
Wow.
service on our part.
You know, this woman is really something else. You know, is what I'm doing in the county legitimate, or do you want to tax my income too? Apparently, she's not satisfied with you know, what the miners are giving to the county, because they're not taking a percentage of what they take out of the hill and bringing it down and handing it to her. What the hell? You know what? As he said, what 3,000 names times you know, $28 per year plus you know, 51 when transfers are taking place. That's a lot of money. And you know, and it was quoted today, I don't know if this number is correct, that it's like $200,000 or $300,000 a year that this adds up to. And at a later point, Cheryl said that money that gets paid by the miners only is enough to cover the administration of that transaction, like a permit or a fee or whatever. That all that covers is the cost that it takes for the guy to take your money and hand you a piece of paper or something.
Now, how is that the case? How is that possible?
That's not at all possible, because I'd be willing to bet that the people that work in the office that take that money don't make $200,000 or $300,000 a year all told. So how could it? And that would be if all they ever did was handle these mining transactions, which we know that they don't. There's a bunch of other stuff that the clerk recorder's office is responsible for doing as well. So, yeah, a poppycock.
Well, when I talked with the sheriff today, I said, by the way, you know, however this thing is going to be resolved with this levy, it is about trust, and everybody agrees that it's about trust. It's not about trust. It might be about trust now in our two top law enforcement officials. It didn't start out that way. It started out about trust in three people. Well, Scott Draper, if you want to toss that in, and maybe even Dennis Weber, but certainly the three commissioners, their reputation is at rock bottom. I wouldn't have thought it could get any worse, and then Cheryl makes this speech. And I said to him, to the sheriff, I said, you know, as I've mentioned to you before, whatever it counts about what I say, I mean, who cares really? Mike doesn't. But I said, you know, the thing is that I would be happy to sit down with you and selected other people if we could talk about what the needs are, and we can keep this almost $1 million skimmed off the top, 900,000 plus, out of the hands of these county commissioners, because I know how they're going to spend it. I'm sitting there all day long. I know what they're doing and what their plans are, because we've played those tapes for you too, about what they want to do and about competition for the way that these commissioners are seen when Simon here goes to some meeting. Well, the others are putting in more. Yeah, they've got more money. Well, that doesn't make us look good. You know, Simon, stop going to these meetings. Just stay at home so that you won't be embarrassed. Well, if we're not on the menu, we're going to shut up about that too. Okay, would you? So the thing is, we know what they're going to do. And I told him, I said, if we can figure out some kind of way where you can pay for your own paper and toner. He said, you know, I'm thinking a lot about what you said, and maybe there's something that could be done, some other way to do it. You eliminate the ISF, and I think a number of us would be willing to say, okay, we make sure the money goes only where it's supposed to. Oh, it's all guaranteed. Don't tell me that. If you take the money out, it's all going back in. What'd you take it out in the first place for? They've already had numerous conversations about what they want to do with that money. I'm not going to give them any money at all. We need to starve them out.
You know what?
Get them out of office. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, the point is that are you a little ticked off that Congress will not exercise the power of the purse. I mean, they have the ability to hold out money to the executive branch and say, no, you cannot do that. Now, we are the Congress here, okay? So we are exercising the power of the purse and saying, hey, you don't get any money because you're not doing what we want you to do. So
but you see,
when
some
you
people think that's
start coming around to our way of thinking, then maybe we'll throw some money at you.
Some people think that's rebelling against authority until you realize we're the authority.
Yeah, I don't.
In America.
Yes, I don't. Yes.
Yeah. Follow the money. And the more you can close off those purse strings, this is closing them off. Well, maybe this is too, but the more you can close off those purse strings, and you might just have a talk with some of your so-called conservative Republican pals. Oh, we're not tax and spend liberal Democrats. Yes, you are. You sure are. You've never seen a tax you didn't like.
Let me just illustrate that in this town, Mark Gatlin is a Republican. Okay. That's a little scary to me because this guy, all he ever does is, speak in little politically correct sound bites because he knows the little things that people want to hear. And when he was running, I thought, oh my God, I cannot believe that you are running on this tired, goofy stuff here. It doesn't make any sense at all. Everybody's heard it all before. It's for the children, blah, blah, blah. We need thinking, normal, rational people here who want government to live within its means. That's
is that
rational
too much to ask? Really?
No, it isn't. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to run, and I'm going to run with that idea. I won't take PERS. I won't take more than the charter says. Go ahead, compete with that, everybody. Okay. Well, you're not going to win. Okay, but are you going to take 30,000 like I said in the charter? I will not vote for these taxes. I want to put an informational question, just an informational question on the ballot because it only can be done by commissioners. What's up with that? And it says there's no force of law, but it's an informational question that gives feedback to Scott Draper and all those people who keep wanting to raise our tax and all those city officials. We would prefer that you don't come back to us for 5 years. Now, we can't make a law, but we can sure as heck tell them this is what we want. And maybe they can look at that and say, well, that's pretty clearly worded. Let's do a poll. Let's pay $100,000 to somebody. Nah.
I got to tell you, I think that is a fantastic idea. And, I have been through a number of these levies since I've moved here. I've been here about 12 years now, and I've been through a bunch of these levies already.
But the Courier says you've only been through two, Mike.
Yes, I understand. Well, I'm a little tired, at the end of the political season. But since we've been doing this show and we're hashing it out all the time, I am so ready for this to be over with.
Oh, don't say so ready. Please don't say so ready. Use another word.
Yes. But you know what I mean. I am a little bit burnt out on it. I mean, I can still muster a little bit of passion on it. However, I'm glad it's tomorrow.
It finally is. And did I mention that we're going to be on live at 8 o'clock? Yes, I think I mentioned that a couple of times. Okay, now
we may even be in a couple of ticks before 8 o'clock. So show up early. It doesn't hurt to show up early. If you click on the link and we're not there, we soon will be. So stick around.
Oh, I like that. Okay, yeah. You click every day, all day. So they're doing for the videos for cuffs. It's great.
Yes,
or you can pay for people to click on it for you. Okay, so Sandy Casanelli, look. One of the things that we've noticed in all of these meetings, and one of the reasons for this show, yet another reason for this show, is that when there's something controversial happening in the community, that's the perfect time. And, it's happened so often, it's not a coincidence. The perfect time for the commissioners to come in, like they did today, talking about turning over the power of eminent domain from your county representatives, turning it over, just giving it away to the Grants Pass City Council. Really? Well, where's the controversy? Well, there's an election happening. Let's have that meeting today, right? And so another thing that they came up with was an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, about the Job Council, this thing that doesn't really counsel you about jobs, and about the workforce development for work plan. Something is supposed to develop a workforce and it doesn't. Okay. But they get a lot of money in to pretend like they're training people for a future in computing. Why? Once you learn to use the keyboard, you are now a programmer. No, you're not. In fact, this is not programming. This is playing the piano. So Sandy Casanelli got up. Let me ask you, where the rest of the dang commissioners used to be at meetings? They were paid to be there. Sandy Casanelli is not paid to do anything. Why is she showing up at meetings when she's not paid to be there? For the same reason Mike shows up. So he can sit in the audience and not say anything. I mean, so he can be there to, encourage me. And, well, he doesn't do that much either. But he's there. That's important, okay? And he chuckles occasionally when I make a stupid joke. So I've tried to make it a little bit more lighthearted. So here's Sandy Casanelli, not being lighthearted at all, and she will explain it to you slowly and carefully.
Sandy Casanelli, Merlin, Oregon. The Intergovernmental Agreement for the Rogue Valley Workforce Consortium is the most convoluted IGA I've ever read. It establishes a consortium of two people made up of one commissioner from Jackson County and one commissioner from Josephine County. Then this consortium of two commissioners will appoint a board by a partnership agreement. That partnership agreement was not included in the documents available to the public today. But supposedly that agreement would allow the board to be the designated grant recipient and administrative agencies for the counties. The IGA then says the consortium of two commissioners is responsible for the oversight of the board. They'll do this by adopting a code of conduct for the board. This document regarding the code of conduct is also not available to the public today. But the real kicker is the liability clause in the IGA, which eliminates all liability of the consortium and the counties for the mismanagement by the board. Wait a minute. I thought the consortium of two commissioners was responsible for the board's oversight. Does that mean that no one will be held accountable if things go wrong? The IGA also states that all suits shall be filed in Jackson County Court. What happens if violations occur in Josephine County? Why must citizens be forced to file in a Jackson County court? The IGA states that this agreement may be executed in one or more counterparts. However, no additional counterparts were provided. There is no partnership agreement or code of conduct for the public to review. This is pretty inappropriate and very shameful. In the interest of Josephine County, you would do well to not sign this IGA today.
Well, there you have it.
Yes, there they are, acting in the public interest yet again. And who knows? Listen, who's the ultimate beneficiary of this situation?
Well, you know what the problem has been with the Workforce Development Council, or with the job, with all that stuff. That it looks like they're going to have to declare bankruptcy. So now, why would you think that they want it drawn up so that if they declare bankruptcy again or previously, that no one will be held responsible? Now, why would they think that?
Well,
it's our money.
Yes, and I'll just reiterate again: all of these job councils and all of these little organizations that are set up to suck on the economic development money that comes from lottery funds. They're just a bunch of leeches, and this is a totally wasteful program. I don't see any good coming from it. You got a bunch of people just sucking on the system. They see that we can file for grants and we can get this money, and we can go around to counties and talk to the commissioners and tell them, hey, do your part to spur economic development. Give us a bunch of money, and then the little Molly do-gooder commissioner said, "Oh, that's a great idea," and then they'll give him a little plaque, and he can hold it up and say, "Look what I did."
No.
In reality,
they're going to spend thousands of dollars so we can put that plaque on a rock.
Yes, right, exactly. But it's completely stupid. It is completely stupid. When are we going to come back around to common sense here? None of us would waste our money in this way. We wouldn't give money to somebody to go try to find ways of giving someone a job. We would never do that. If we wanted somebody we would call on all of our friends who are involved in business and say, hey, listen, who has a job available? Let's get some people in those jobs, and we'll use this little social networking situation to make that happen. That's what they would do. And guess what? It wouldn't cost diddly. But yet, we want to take millions of dollars that, unfortunate people that apparently are betting on chance that they're going to get $1 million. And we're taking advantage of those people. And all that money is then being distributed out to a bunch of leeches all over the state and all over the United States. That's not serving any purpose for, the guy who's leeching off of this thing. Well, at least he's not on welfare. That's about as good as I could say about it.
Well, and then the bottom line for us, to kind of sum it up, is if we had more economic development in this area, we wouldn't have to worry about whether there was enough money to keep us safe and every other thing, and do we have to euthanize and kill animals right away and all the rest of these goofy things. So we need a place for the kids and all that. If we had more money coming in, and this is where the marijuana growers and the miners have something in common, and they're just realizing it. Wow, they're talking to each other. I think it's cool. Okay, so but who is it that's in charge of economic development in this economically starved place, Mike Jones?
Share Walker.